I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I am Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Brianna Jones.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Bree to like musical theater. How are we doing today, guys?
Man, life is really hard for me right now.
Oh, why? Oh, no.
I just found out that I am half God, and that obviously has made my life worse somehow.
Oh my God, which God? You, because you're half God.
No, I'm only a half-blood. I'm a mere mortal god. I'm not a true god. My father is Thor, the god of thunder.
Your father is sore? Like, I can get him some ibuprofen.
If you'd like, but I don't know if it would help him much. He's always fighting Jotuns.
This week, we're talking about the musical The Lightning Thief. Cue the music, Bree.
Oh, things couldn't be worse when your parents run the universe. Oh, things couldn't be worse when your folks run the universe. My dad is Hermes, he messengers things. You'll know he's signed by his shoes with those wings. I'd wait by the phone, but the phone never rings. Oh, no.
I know how that goes.
When your dad's a god, life can be tough. I met the guy once, and the once was enough.
No, I hear that. The Lightning Thief is a musical with music by Rob Rokicki and lyrics by Rob Rokicki, book by Joe Trask, and based on the Lightning Thief books by Rick Riordan. It premiered off-Broadway on July 21st, 2014 at the Lucille Lortel Theater in New York City, and then it went on a couple national tours and finally premiered on Broadway on October 16th, 2020 at the Long Acre Theater. It closed on January 5th, 2020, and you know what? It was nominated for no Tonys, despite being the only musical with an original score that came out that year. They literally nominated the music from plays, so it couldn't nominate The Lightning Thief for Best Original Score and Music. What the... In a year when there was no theater, that was what they did.
They didn't want to even justify the existence of this.
Yeah. That baffles the fuck out of me. I'm still mad about that. Like, this isn't the best show ever, but that pisses me off. But the plot of the show
They couldn't even be bothered to nominate it.
Yeah, I don't even care if it wins at this point. Like when it was like nomination time was coming, I didn't even care if it won. I just wanted to get nominated because hey, it probably wouldn't have been any other season. But hey, since the COVID shutdowns kind of avoided a lot of shows opening, that could be a good thing for Lightning Thief. Now here we are, and shit sucks. The plot of The Lightning Thief. Percy Jackson has newly discovered powers he can't control, monsters on his trail, and he is on a quest to find Zeus's lightning bolt and prevent a war between the Greek gods. Normal is a myth when you're a demigod. So Andrew, what did you think of The Lightning Thief the musical?
Honestly, I didn't know what to expect going into it, and I was, honestly, I feel like I was disappointed anyways. Like I
expected nothing and I'm still disappointing.
Yeah, like I feel like that's actually where I'm at. Like the only thing I knew about this is that it was apparently so bad that they didn't nominate it for a Tony, even though it was the only show that existed that year.
Yes, last year.
So I was like, okay, well, maybe that's just big old mean critics. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, no, it wasn't. Okay, that's just bad.
I disagree with you. I think this show's great. I think this show's a ton of fun.
Okay, can we just briefly... Did you watch the movies?
I watched the first movie and I read the first book. So I read and saw all the adaptations of this before seeing the musical.
Okay. Is the book just bad? Is the book just bad? Like...
It's hard to say.
I hear the movie is bad, and I don't like the musical, and I know that they're going to adapt it into a TV show or something soon as well.
Yeah, Disney Plus show.
And, like... I just feel like it's just bad. I don't know.
All right. It was kind of coming off in the Harry Potter area of like young adult fantasy based on like some kind of mythological connection. So it is very similar in tone to that, where it takes place in contemporary reality. A kid is sent off to a school for a bunch of magic folk where they have to learn and do things, but things go awry, and he and his two friends, his nerdier, weirder friend that has goat legs, and his attractive lady friend, all go off on an adventure to try to stop bad things from happening because Zeus thinks he stole, like, his lightning bolt. It's a darker piece than the musical is. The book is very much in kin with like Harry Potter, but like the midpoint Harry Potter where it gets like a touch darker, but not so dark that it's not for kids anymore.
So not like the little kid ones, but like the teenagers one almost.
Yeah. While they are like 12 years old in the book, the tone is closer to like Prisoner of Azkaban than it is to Sorcerer's Stone.
Okay.
And this just kind of leans into the like camp and humor side, which I kind of appreciate because I like that and that's fun. And if you take this story about like half gods or gods that go down and fuck women and impregnate like babies into them and just abandon them on Earth for them to figure it out for themselves, that's a wacky, fuckety idea. And if you don't play it for laughs, it's gonna kind of feel icky. So I think they picked all the right choices.
Should though, like the Greek gods are. I don't know. I wish the Greek gods were, and I know it's really common to do these modern stylizations of Greek gods, like what is that show, like American Gods or something? I don't know, but they do like modern stylizations of these god characters. I just feel like it always sucks.
Have you read the book American Gods?
I have not.
It's pretty good, but it's what you're saying, except it takes itself much more seriously.
Yeah, well, taking it more seriously would be nice. They really did my boy Dionysus dirty in this, and I was really unhappy to see that portrayal. But
Andrew's gonna love the frogs. I feel like I've come around, and now I'm just fairly certain that Andrew's just gonna love every second of the frogs.
Like Dionysus is like the god of like partying essentially, and like what do they do to him? He's like an old man, like a grumpy like Danny DeVito type. Like, come on.
I mean, all right. What's the difference between something like this and Hercules, which I know you like?
There's not that much of a difference. Just Hercules is animated and has a lot more fun with it.
This has a ton of fun. They have like leaf blowers with toilet paper rolls on the end, so they spray you with toilet paper. It's great.
I didn't get sprayed with any toilet paper watching this. That's all I can say.
I did. I was in the third row seeing this live, and I had a blast. There was an old couple in front of me that walked out midway through, and I got better view of the show that way.
Okay. Chiron, they couldn't even be bothered to make him an actual centaur. Like, come on. How hard is it to just do a bottom of a horse costume? Come on.
But I like that. I like the kind of ramshackle papier-mâché look of this show, where they kind of lean into it being like a little cheesier, so you don't take it as seriously. I think the tone does a lot of favors, especially like seeing this as what it was originally going to be. It was like a one-act 60-minute show just for fun that eventually grew into a much longer thing, and now it is like perfect for like high school theaters. This is going to be like do gangbusters in community theater and high school theater, and it's great for that. Imagine kids doing it. It's wonderful.
I'm sure they'll have a great time with it. I didn't enjoy it at all, though.
Why?
I just did not like it. It just felt like a young adult, like, I don't know. I don't like that young adult feel, you know, where it's like kids saving the world from threats that are like not really that threatening. Like, I don't know.
I mean, that's a problem you have with the young adult genre, not the show itself. You kind of have to, like, detach yourself a little bit and see this as an adaptation. And as an adaptation, I appreciate the choices it made, as opposed to the choices made in the film version, which is to age them up, make them all strong boys, and make everything, like, either super goofy or super stupid or super serious.
Okay, why do they call it Camp Half-Blood when there's already a word for it? It's called being a demigod. Shouldn't it be Camp Demigod?
I mean, Half-Blood is just like a cutesier version of that. I feel like that's
exactly.
A nickname.
That's like, why? Do we have to do that? Can't we just use the word demigod?
You want my honest opinion? My cynical opinion?
Sure.
Because you can't sell demigod. You can't really trademark demigod, but you can trade half-god or half-blood.
It reminds me of like
you can trademark muggle.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the mudblood thing from Harry Potter. It's just like they're trying to do that.
Yeah, it is, and it does it well, and better.
No, it does. It just does it worse.
Because the writer isn't a transphobe. It's better.
Okay, I mean, I don't care about the author. We don't have to drag that in. Death of the author. Come on, get with the times.
Well, the author's still alive and profiting off the merch, you know.
Okay,
Andrew, you're just angry at like tonal things, which I respected. You can't be mad at a tone because it wasn't what you expected. You got to respect it for what it is.
Oh no, it's not because it wasn't what I expected.
Okay.
It's because it's not what I like.
We've covered other teenage-driven musicals. We've covered Be More Chills. We've covered Dear Evan Hansen's. We've covered
Yeah, but Be More
Beetlejuice's.
Chill. Be More Chill is like a simple story where there's not like a fake threat that's not really threatening. Like, I never actually felt like any of these characters were in any actual danger through the entire show here. Even
But
though
they are characters with goals and aspirations and issues.
like, yeah, but no. Like, what is Percy's like goal other than just to get his mom back, I guess?
Well, his mom is dead. His goal is to find himself and figure out like where he fits into this new world that he was thrown into that he didn't realize he was a part of, and he doesn't know who his dad is. It's like a usual story of a kid that doesn't know who his dad is, and his mom's gone and thrown into this world he doesn't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I really just don't enjoy it. I guess I have trouble explaining why. I don't like it.
I mean, was anything done incompetently? Because I feel like the I Want song explains what people want. They explain their issues. The characters are very distinct from one another.
I think if anything was done incompetently, it's not very funny. Like, most of the jokes do not land for me at all. I'm even trying to remember any of the jokes, and I can't quite. I remember they did the Dead on Arrival, like, records is, like, that's where Hades is. Like,
I think
oh,
that
yeah.
song's a lot of fun, by the way.
It's just, I just don't think it's that funny.
I mean, a lot of it is more like kind of nudgy, goofy. Like, I'm imagining like for kids, this is their first like step into like the Greek god territory, where it gives you just enough of their like what they are and how they stand for, and like the fun side of it. It's mostly for fun at this point. I don't even think it's like for comedy.
I guess. If I liked anything, no, I don't think I liked anything.
You didn't like the set design. You didn't like the stylistic choices that are obviously made of stylistic choices.
Yeah, no, I don't like the tone. I don't like the characters. I think Percy is just unlikable in a way. He doesn't have any like real character traits other than just not knowing of the world. It's just like he's just a audience insert character in a like majorly.
Well, he is that, but he also has like traits, like he has ADHD. I think in the book it was dyslexia, where he just kind of
which
has a
they
very
also
hard time
try
focusing.
They try to use that to say that because he had those mental disorders, he was definitely a demigod, which is kind
I think
of
those
awkward.
in the book. It was more like they were a side effect of being a demigod.
I guess that was a bit of an awkward choice, in my opinion. But even then, you don't even really see those things happen. Like, you never actually see him like try to read something and he has dyslexia or something. Like, that doesn't actually happen in the show. They just say that it does. And I mean, I don't remember the girl's character's name, but
Annabeth. It's Annabeth.
Annabeth. She just really wants to please her mom is like her whole thing. And I don't know. They try to go with this thing where they have the Oracle tell Percy. So Percy finds out. Well, I gotta go through the plot real quick. Percy finds out that he is a demigod, a half-blood, and he gets attacked by a minotaur, and his mom dies to it. I think it was a minotaur, right?
It was some creature, yeah. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, Minotaur.
And then he goes to Camp Half-Blood, and all of the kids are sorted into different cliques that are just based on who their parent is. His parents like Ares, Athena, did they even Mercury? not Mercury. I forget the name in I forget the name that they use. My goodness. I get confused with Roman and Greek names. But okay, yeah, they do all that, and then he gets framed for stealing Zeus's lightning, so he goes on a quest to go to Hades in the underworld and get
Clears
the lightning.
name, basically.
Yeah, get the lightning back. An oracle tells him before the quest that he's going to fail, and one of his friends will betray him, which I think is paid off in the laziest way they possibly could pay that off, in my opinion. But maybe Jess will disagree.
I will agree. I do not like how that kind of comes up but that was in the book. But I just don't think it's done well there either.
It's just incredibly lazy. It's just like, oh yeah, you'll get betrayed by a friend, and you'll fail. And like he doesn't fail, and the friend he gets betrayed by was somebody who was not on the quest with him. So like, okay,
it was just some other guy, you know.
And then he goes to the underworld. Hades doesn't actually have the lightning. It turns out Percy did have the lightning, but Ares actually was framing him with it because Ares like helped them and they trusted him for some reason, even though he's like the god of like horrific violence. But I guess we'll trust Ares. Yeah, that's cool. And he gives him the lightning, and then Poseidon comes and saves the day, who is Percy's dad. And then his mom comes back to life for some reason.
I love the design of Poseidon. I think Poseidon is hilarious.
Poseidon, yeah. I mean, it's funny. I like the Hawaiian shirt. Poseidon's always portrayed as like really chill, even though he definitely is not like really, really chill. He's just as weird and hypersexual as the other two brothers are, but
he's like the stoner, sexual, like horny bro.
It's actually weird because Hades is always portrayed as the bad guy, and they even make the joke in this that he is, but like in the actual Greek mythology, he's actually like the most chill, and he's like very into Persephone, and that's about it.
I mean, yeah, it's all these things. It's a simplistic story for kids, and it was made to be an hour-long kids show that got expanded into a 2-act musical, which is still fairly short. It's like a little over 2 hours. It's not even like approaching
actually, you know what?
Hours.
Positive things. It's short.
It is very short. It moves very fast. The plot is told very succinctly, like the opening scene where he like gets kicked out of school and like we learn about him being a half-blood and like all that stuff. Done very, very quickly in the opening, very well. And very fun, and like with all these puppets. This has so much puppet usage, and you don't like it?
I don't think the puppets are that good.
I think they're really cool.
I think the Minotaur was pretty cool. I wish they used him more than once. They didn't, though. Yeah, I don't know. Yeesh.
I'm not saying this is a faultless show. I'm not saying like this is the most perfect show in the world. For children and teenagers wanting a kind of young adult experience at the theater that they could probably put on in a way that they can relate to, where you could teach this in your class and then you can also perform it in your school, I think this is the best of all worlds. In community theater, this is like a perfect community theater show.
That I can maybe agree with that, but how the heck did this get to Broadway?
Popularity, fan base. It got a really devoted young fan base, run through a very vocal, very well done Twitter account that really brought people together. It was an underdog show that would just tour, and when it toured, a lot of people would go to see it because brand recognition. Like it's like if they did a Harry Potter musical and it was just small and intimate. I appreciated how small it was. It is a very 7 cast members. That's pretty incredible. I think that's good for what they pull off with such a small cast. And it's just different. It is not the same. It is not heavy like Dear Evan Hansen. It is all the things I like about SpongeBob in a more, smaller container.
I think what it doesn't have that SpongeBob does have, though, is SpongeBob is funny.
I mean, this isn't really trying to be like a laugh riot. This has a lot of plot it has to tell, and it's worried more about character development than it is chuckles.
I just don't think they develop the characters very well. They develop Grover okay, I think. If anyone got developed well, it was him.
And I will say he was the one that got shafted the most in the live-action film directed by Chris Columbus, where he is comic relief buffoon in those movies.
Oh, I mean, I definitely could see that coming. Like, if anyone is going to get turned into that, it's that guy.
Whereas in the book, he's like the guy that kind of explains it all. He's not really a funny guy. He's like just a guy that happens to be a goat on the bottom.
I like the traumatic backstory element that they did with him. I kind of wish there was something like that for, like, Percy.
I mean, we see it happen. His mom gets murdered.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't even feel like he really responds that much to it.
Well, the
Like
the show just moves that fast where it just not a lot of those moments get to sink in too much. And also
Yeah.
because it's not really a depressing Dear Evan Hansen-esque show either.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just, it just
You just
didn't-
wanted to drink the haterade and be like, fuck them kids. Just like Michael Jordan.
I don't even usually mind kids shows, though. Honestly, I think I like children's media more than I like young adult media. I think young adult is just like this genre of bland, like just really bland stories about teenagers fighting in Harry Potter knockoffs.
Well, there is an actual Harry Potter show on Broadway that I think is much worse than this, actually. Like, I think this is a much better show than the actual Harry Potter stage show on Broadway at the moment.
I have not seen that. I don't want to. I'm not a huge fan of Harry Potter either. I think Harry
Me
Potter's really lame.
Mediocre. It's
Yeah.
pretty mediocre. I think these books are actually better written than Harry Potter. They're very clear, cut, easy reads.
I wish there was more depth to the young adult genre. Like, I wish they would talk about anything, like, thematically that was anywhere close to an amount of depth. I feel like you get more depth from some Disney movies than you get from some of these young adult things.
I mean, they're there. Like, young adult books that have depth are there. It's just that they get memed to death. Like, The Fault in Our Stars is very depthful, but it got memed to death because of that god-awful movie, and that's just become its own stupid group of memes for little girls now. As bad as this sounds, I think there's more depth in shit like Twilight than there is in Harry Potter. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Harry Potter has, like, no depth. Like, at all.
Well, Harry Potter is a repetitive structure for 8 books. Like, literally, they have the same basic things. And you can call it, oh, it's just warm and familiar. Like, I know the structure. I know what it is. No, it's all the same book. Every book is the same, guys.
Harry Potter is like a deeply flawed universe that is getting attacked by an evil person, and Harry Potter's just like, yeah, I defeated the evil person. Let's never look inward, though. Ever.
Harry Potter is just the ultimate, like protagonist. You might as well just call him protagonist. Whereas Percy, he has issues. He has a stepdad he doesn't like. He has these mental facilities that he is struggling with. He has, like, this constant ability to, like, find himself in trouble and no one believes him when he says, like, no, it's not me. Like, there are things here that I think kids and teens should and could relate to while it's still being a young adult fantasy novel. There are those real life things that I find much more interesting than, like, it sucks being the coolest guy in the world and Harry Potter.
You know what could have made this show way better?
What?
If they did it like Wizard of Oz. Like, let's say before he finds out about he's actually a demigod, we see the stepdad, and then we see, like, a mean teacher that he has or something, or just people he doesn't like. And then he finds out that he is a demigod, and he meets Medusa, and it's the same actress that played the mean teacher. And then he meets Ares, and it's the mean stepdad. It's the same actor. Like, I kind of feel like that could work better. Whereas, like,
I disagree.
here, it just feels it's just set piece after set piece that has no connection to any. Like, they run into Medusa. They just run into Medusa just cause. I mean, why did they meet Medusa?
Andrew, we've covered vignette musicals before, and we haven't had this complaint. It's just a series of vignettes from scene to scene. They have a goal. They're going to the goal, and vignettes happen on their way to the goal. It is no different than any other structure like that. Hero's journey.
No, because usually there's, like, thematic relevance to things. Like, what does Medusa represent for Percy, other than just a mean lady that he doesn't like?
I mean,
Nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing
what does
there.
the Wicked Witch represent to fucking Dorothy, aside from a mean lady she doesn't like?
It's an actual mean lady that she doesn't like in her real life. And it's
What does the Jitterbug represent to Dorothy when she...
a cut scene that doesn't exist in the movie.
when she... No, he's a guy who told her about a fine affair.
Okay, that's not a real movie that doesn't exist.
What do Tom and Jerry represent Dorothy when she goes
See,
to Oz?
this is... You're explaining this. This is why the Tom and Jerry one is not as good, and this is why Percy Jackson is not as good.
I think you just want to hate this. I feel like you had a bad taste in your mouth for the stylistic choices that you wanted to find reasons to dislike it. And I don't usually claim that to you.
Sure. I just don't think it was good.
Well, it doesn't really matter what we think, because it's time to compare our opinions to those of the New York theater critics. And one of our favorite segments of all time, it's time for Previews!
It's time for previews. It's time for previews.
New York Times critic Jesse Green said of the limited 2019 Broadway production, "Here's an idea for a Broadway musical. An awkward boy with an absent father and an overwhelmed mother gets involved with friends in a dubious scheme that spins out of control and almost undoes him. Is it Dear Evan Hansen? Is it Dear Evan Hansen? If only."
Ugh.
This is better than Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah, can we not compare it to something that's probably worse?
No, they think that's such a great show, and this is garbage, apparently.
Alas, The Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson musical, is a pale patch of the earlier show and a failed attempt to board the teenage fantasy angst train. See also Be More Chill and more successfully Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Based on the popular 2005 novel by Rick Riordan, it is both overblown and underproduced, filled with sentiments it can't support and effects it can't pull off.
Yikes.
Shows of this ilk, not just Lightning Thief, but also Be More Chill, School of Rock, and despite its terrific score, 13, normalize the idea that actually quite privileged youngsters are victims of social or parental neglect. They bellow their rebellion in catchy songs. They go on childish quest to claim their maturity. The Lightning Thief doubles down on that agenda. Its finale, an anthem called Bring on the Monsters, would be laughably banal if it were so aggressively false. The battle's just begun, the characters instruct the audience. What battle? The one with the parents who ponied up the big bucks to bring you to a show featuring flashlights and sock puppets? Better to count your blessings and find another fantasy.
That's such a shitty, diminishing review. Like, that is such a...
I don't know, man. I gotta say, I agree with everything after that Dear Evan Hansen line.
I disagree so much. I disagree about the specific framing of teenagers, because I don't think that's the message this is trying to say at all.
I think even more so, I think he should have included Dear Evan Hansen in the genre that he was describing there, because I think Dear Evan Hansen fits it perfectly. The idea that privileged young people are actually the victims. Like, all of these shows are about people who discover that they're literally magic and, like, have more power than anyone else, but actually... you guys are really the victims who are, like, being oppressed by society, if you think about it. I mean... you're a fucking demigod! Your dad is goddamn fucking Poseidon, the ruler of the entire ocean.
But Daddy wasn't there! Daddy wasn't there!
My daddy's not there! I'm magic, but my daddy's not there! Oh my god, grow a pair. Jesus
Oh my god, was
Christ.
that the amazing atheist that just showed up on this podcast with me?
Hell yes! TJ Kirk is here, and he is pissed.
Jesus Christ. No. I think you're just trying to find reasons to agree with the New York Times now.
My name's Harry Potter, and my step-parents are so mean, but also I'm able to do magic, and I'm the chosen one, and everyone worships me at school, and I'm literally going to defeat an evil person and, like, probably become, like, a king or something in this world.
Well, there's the kind of fine line these have to walk. For young adult novels, because you kind of want it to be a fantasy fulfillment where it's like, wouldn't it be cool if, but you also want to give these characters nuance and problems that you can at least understand. So that is the fine line that they walk. I think Harry Potter does it badly. I think this does it better.
You know what does it really good? Spider-Man. Think about it. Spider-Man does it 100 times better than any of these ever have.
And you know what? That didn't work as a musical either.
It works better than this. I had more fun.
No, you take that shit back.
I had more fun. It was more fun to watch.
You are a monster, Andrew DeWolf.
No, I'm not taking it back. Spider-Man Into the Darkness was more fun.
Jesus Christ. My God. All right, we got to move on to the next review. Brie, what we got
Dude,
next?
straight up, I did not have a good time watching this.
You are a monster.
I straight up was not having a fun time, bro.
This is like ringing true of like early days of musicals with cheese, where we like disagreed every week.
Did you not enjoy your teenage years, Andrew?
No, I actually didn't. No, I actually did not. Not at all.
Andrew, we shared our teenage years, and neither of us enjoyed it.
No, all the media for teenagers is trash.
At least now they've got Marvel, which is like popcorn, but I enjoy popcorn.
At least it's mildly better. I mean, they're still being trained to worship billionaires, but, you know, it's whatever.
I mean, Percy Jackson was middle class. He's not like a gazillionaire.
Middle class in money, upper class in demigod status.
Oh my God, that's like fucking Zack Snyder behavior there.
Oh, I mean, is being a demigod not great man theory? I mean, come on.
Read this review before I strangle him through the computer, Brie.
You got it, boss. All right. Time's out. Raven Snook said of the 2017 off-Broadway run, "The musical is best enjoyed by families with school-age kids, especially those who devoured the book like my 11-year-old. The 7 cast members, though too mature to totally convince as angsty adolescents, are charismatic and energetic and handle the required quick character changes smoothly. Still, the action rarely flags thanks to Stephen Brackett, Sharp's direction, Rob Rokicki, spirited songs, Joe Track's lucid book, which is easy to follow even if you don't know the novel, and the smart avoidance of special effects in the favor of lo-fi stagecraft. Leaf blowers spew toilet paper to show Percy's ability to control water. Medusa dons novelty glass.
Novelty.
What?
Novelty.
No, novelty glasses with illuminated eyes. What is going on here? What is going on the stage? For tween audiences, this lightning thief is liable to steal their hearts."
I agree with this review, Andrew.
Yeah, I agree.
Every word. Every word.
I'm sure that their 11-year-old loved it.
Yeah, they use leaf blowers and they shoot toilet paper into the audience and it like looks like water.
Jess just likes getting covered with toilet paper while being surrounded by 11-year-olds.
Maybe I'm biased because I did see this live. I was kind of like in the zone and I really had a lot of fun watching this. And maybe if I just saw a bootleg like Andrew, I would feel a little less good about it. But I very much enjoyed it. I felt the cast knocked it out of the park. I feel like the stagecraft was fun and goofy in the right ways.
I mean, yeah, it probably is more fun to see live. You probably don't nitpick it as much as I was when I was just watching it as a bootleg. I don't know. I'm not an 11-year-old, though. I'm not sure it's made for me.
We just talked about Tangled last week, and you had more nice things to say about the hour-long Disney Cruise Line Magic Cruise Line production.
That was a better show? I mean, what do you want me to say? Tangled is better. It's more, like, fun to watch. Media for children is fantastic. Media for teenagers is garbage.
Is there any media for teenagers that you think is actually good?
That's a really tough question because I think the answer is no.
Riverdale. Just kidding.
Oh no!
I mean,
no.
Well, I mean,
So
actually
bad.
though, like what is made for teenagers? Like Harry Potter, this, Hunger Games, Twilight, Riverdale. Like all of these are things that I definitely do not enjoy in any way. Like teenage media is just bad.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you, Andrew, because it's all very cringy, because it's like they're at a weird age, they're trying to push like love and things like that. I don't know.
But like love in like a very specifically non-sexual way as
Yeah.
well. Or if it is sexual, it's like awkward sexual.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's not good.
Can I offer an alternative for like teen novels that I think worked?
Sure.
I think the Series of Unfortunate Events books worked really well. They are a
I've
very
not-
different style
I've not
than
read
these.
those, but the movie was more fun to watch than most teenage-driven movies. I don't know if that's accurate to the books, though.
Would you consider it like for tweens and teens though?
I always thought of that as like for kids, though. To be honest,
As did I. Like I read those books when I was a kid.
What do you think these are made for? Like, I imagine like preteens and teens.
See, I would have
What's
still
the
considered
age of a
myself
kid?
I don't know, like 8, 9, 10 is when I probably read those. It's still kind of.
I think Bree's right on this one.
What's the difference between a kid's book and a teen book?
Teenagers are kind of weird and horny. Kids aren't. And what's the difference?
Kids, you can just send characters on an adventure.
Yes.
Teenagers, you have to send them on an adventure with a love interest, and like most of it has to be about like finding yourself,
Yep.
like and stuff. And it's just like, maybe we could just do an adventure. Like maybe they could just go on an adventure. Like that'd be fun. Like maybe we don't have to have like 3 scenes of the person talking about, why did my mom never send me on a quest? Why did my mom not love me? Why did my dad never be a part of my life? Like, just go on an adventure. Like, okay, you're going to the underworld. Like, can we not just have fun with it? Like, come on.
I don't know. Maybe they do that so like teens and tweens will reflect. I don't know. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. I think tween.
Why do you need to play devil's advocate? We have the devil in chat here.
I do have to agree though, but the content is weird and it's not appealing.
I mean, I think that a lot of adult content is just as cringe as teen.
Oh,
content.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Adult content is also pretty consistently
Like, y'all
not
ever read a
great.
John Grisham book? That shit's cringe as fuck.
But I think what Andrew is saying is that kids' content is typically good because it's just an adventure. Like you start one place and you end somewhere else, and it's not awkward or weird or sexual in any way. It's just fun.
I think most of the really good adult content is also like just they go on an adventure. It's just more violent.
Yeah.
Like, and
know
then you have
what?
this teenage area where they're no longer allowed to just go on an adventure. They have to do all sorts of ridiculous self-loathing nonsense, like, all the time.
You know what? Let's go into a mid-show announcement, and then we can talk about the songs. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a shill at you. Andrew, take it away.
Oh, man. You can donate to us on Patreon if you'd really like to, because we got extra content and stuff there, too. I mean, you're going to get something out of it. We're going to get something out of it. It's a win-win. Is it really? Like, we can keep making the show. You're listening to the show. You probably like it. I'm liking it. I'm feeling good being mean again. It's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been a while since Andrew's been openly antagonistic. It's been a long time. It's been
been a
probably
long
about
time.
50, 60 episodes, honestly.
We're bringing it back. This is classic cheese.
This is
right here.
honestly a classic musical cheese.
And I'm hopping on the train to gang up on Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what it used to be. I used to just berate Jess, and then the audience would be like, Jess was actually right the whole time. But it was really funny listening to you.
Poor Jesse.
That was our first 10 episodes. Like, yeah, Andrew was wrong, but I laughed my ass.
So, you know what? I'm anticipating everyone being like, you are making fun of this poor show. But you know what? It was fun. It was a blast. Our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Terry Needleman, John Donna, Lighton Ackles, Danielle Renix, Jess the Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Tess Skier, Fire of September, Monica Thoreau, Mina Maneri, Brent Black, Haley Murray, B-Way Flicks, Nathaniel Stacy Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Carrie Ahern, Christine Malmadel, Mary Lou Choquette, Jean Vanals, Heck You, I Go By Elijah Now, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Gracie, Andrew Van Barson, Tablam, Kyle Summers, Janae C., Christina Francis, Scoot and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Corey Wilmarth, Allison Stuller, Nothing Is Certain Except Beth and Taxes, John Vanals, Thespian, Ren Cohen, Wait in the Wings, Lady Malvolia, Spectacle Machine, Jacob Stroop, Rafael Martinez Celez, Robert Benjamin, Rachel T., Jessica T., Genevieve Hartnett, Cass, Just Cass, Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Hayden Wilder, Katie McDonough, Katie McDonough. Why do I do that? Genki Guys, Stacass, Timothy Keys, Jeffrey Machado, Jacas, Ten Van Asen, Jesse Taylor, and R. Elliott. My goodness.
If you want to hear more times of Andrew pronouncing Jacques as Jackass, come join us over at Patreon. We got a lot of
pronounce
fun
these names. I'm sorry.
If you want to hear Andrew mispronounce your name every week, it'll be fun to have you on Patreon, right?
I pronounce the easy one wrongs when they're new. Like, my goodness.
Yeah,
We'll
Mia
get someone
Maneri
named-
was like,
We'll get
looks
someone
so
named
easy
John
right
Smith
now.
or something, and I'll mess it up, you know?
Is this a Jean Smythe that we have here?
Jean Smith? I think it's a French name.
Also, we have merch. Buy our merch because, you know, that just helps the world go around. You got that stimulus check? Spend it all on Musicals with Cheese merch.
Absolutely. All right, let's get back into the show.
So if you think you are a half blood, better get headed to the exits now. Cause folks will think you're lying, better run and don't start crying cause you're monster chow. Stick around and maybe you'll learn from me. This ain't no Jesse, it's his Odyssey. So hear me out if you're so compelled. But nobody listens to me, they never listen. Nobody listens to me, they never listen. Oh. You got it said. I didn't wanna be a half-blood. I didn't ask to be a half-blood. Expelled.
Let's talk about the first song, The Day I Got Expelled, which I think is a really good and effective way to get a lot of information across.
Yeah. I think the beginning of this show is the best part.
I think this like opening like story, like the storytelling and like kind of the framing is brilliant.
Yeah, I like that they have like the teacher there and they have Grover there already, you know. They got all that stuff and then they kind of ease you in, but those characters stick around, you know. That's fun.
Yeah, and also the puppets. The puppets are great. It kind of shows you the stylistic choices, which is going to be minimalist, lo-fi puppetry and kind of like stage tricks rather than like grandiose, realistic-looking Harry Potter the Cursed Child style animatronics and shit.
Hey, don't forget that they open it in that way as well with that very cheap background that they rip apart at the very beginning.
I love it. It's kind of grungy, Nickelodeon style. It's fun.
Yeah, it almost made me think I might like it, and then
I want you all to go and attack him on Twitter. I don't have my Twitter anymore for reasons I don't want to go into, but please just attack him and tell him how wrong he is.
I think this opening reminds me of that Andrew Jackson show that we did.
Oh, bloody Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's just because that there's a teacher in a wheelchair. Wasn't that in Bloody Andrew Jackson?
Yeah, there's just this random lady in a wheelchair that would come out randomly to like, history.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only reason it reminds me of that, but I guess the music style's not that different either.
No, I feel like it's of the same ilk of kind of like edgy-ish, but really the content here doesn't match the edge.
Yeah, well, they want it to. Yeah.
I like this opening. I think like the idea of like them setting up both like it sucks to be the son of a god as well as Percy being like, I didn't ask for this, but here's how my day went.
Yeah. I think this up to the Minotaur is the best part of the show. So
I think his I Want song of Strong is also very effective with him and his mom. I think that scene is like really emotionally like valuable in a way that it doesn't really get that sincere again for the rest of the show, nor should it, because it kind of is like an emotional through line and to show that connection and doesn't really need to pop up in any substantial way for the rest of it. It doesn't need that.
Yeah. I thought it was a bit strange that they had the mom and him sing that song and then immediately after kill the mother character, though. It seemed a bit quick.
It's pretty quick in the book as well.
Okay. I feel like it would have a bit more
best-
impact if she stuck around for like a little bit.
Yeah. But then again, she'd be able to answer too many questions. We got to kind of throw them out. Get rid of all the people that could answer specifics.
I guess.
She could just tell him who his father was, and that would be too easy.
It's kind of weird that she doesn't just tell him. To be
You're not
honest.
wrong. I want to talk about my favorite song in this show, which is probably where the lyrics and like the song is the most clever, and I think the jokes land the best, and that's the campfire song, where all the kids talk about who their parents are and how it affects them and why it changed them and why it's like their angst like venting session.
So my dad is some god. That's great, I guess. Did he not want me or not want the stress? Too bad he's the worst, and my life is a mess. Oh no. Oh yeah, I hope he shows even a trace, 'cause I've got some choice words to throw in his face.
All things couldn't be worse when your parents run the universe. All things couldn't be worse.
But I don't care where our parents may be, as long as you are here with me.
We don't care where our parents may be, as long as you are here with me. As long as you are here with me.
I feel like this was where I started really not liking it, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I just really thought the whole concept of like them just singing about their parent and like why that they're upset about it and why it stinks for them. It's just so like so much self-pity in a song, and I just hate
But
seeing it.
teenagers are that way. They'll find reasons to self-pity themselves. And what do they all have in common? They got a dad that abandoned them or a mom that abandoned them.
Yeah, self-pity's lame though, and like this is an entire song of it. And then it's kind of odd that they have Percy sing a verse even though they know that he doesn't even know who his parent is. It's like awkward for him. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's kind of to show, like, as bad as they got it, he has it worse because at least they know who their parents are.
Yeah.
And he is kind of like the least self-pitying out of all of them because he's like, oh, my dad was some guy and I don't know him and I guess I never will, whatever.
I don't know.
It's
I
a
think-
character moment, Andrew.
It's a moment. It's something. They introduced a bunch of characters and they all sing. Yeah.
That's
What
just
else?
a view of every musical ever. They introduced a bunch of characters and they all sing.
Well,
I guess
that
go
is-
see it.
I mean,
That's
that
like
actually
your Eeyore review of everything.
that actually is what happens in this song though, because they introduce a bunch of characters and most of them never show up again. Like who's isn't there like a daughter of Ares or something? And then there's like I don't know, that the guy that's like the actual friend that betrays him, who he like knows for like a day, or something. I don't know. Okay.
I think you just want to drink the haterade.
The haterade is fully devoured. I was drinking it all the way through the show.
Okay. Let's talk about the angstiest song in the show, and probably like the worst ballady one.
Sure.
And that's Good Kid, where Percy's just like, I want to be a good kid, but I'm a bad kid. That one?
The same old story, the same old song. Don't act up, don't act down, be strong. I keep my head down, I keep my chin up, but it ends up all the same. With back your backs, Percy, you're always to blame. I never try to do anything, I never mean to hurt anyone. I try to be a good kid, a good son. But no one ever will take my side. All I ever do is take a fall. I swear that I'm a good kid. Guess I'm good for nothing at all.
Yeah, no, this
This
one's
is where I'll
definitely-
relent to your point. Yes, too angsty.
This one's pretty bad. Yeah, they should have just cut this song and just done Killer Quest instead. And just
But I feel like you do need that dive into Percy's mind and how he thinks and how he functions. We don't really have that moment until now.
Yeah, but do we want to find this out? Do we want to find out that this is what our main character is thinking?
I think it's important to figure out what he's thinking, and I agree, maybe it's not this. But I have seen a lot of kids like really connect with this song.
Yeah. No, this is a bad one. I didn't like it. I don't know what to say.
Oh my god, Andrew.
You didn't like it either. Get out of here.
I didn't hate it though.
Killer Quest was probably the best song since the opening.
I like Killer Quest a lot. It's a great Act 1 closer.
Oh, bon voyage and fare me well.
We're gonna fight each foe, each curse and spell.
We're gonna march straight down to the gates of hell.
Underworld.
Close enough. I'm finally gonna pass a test.
We're going on a killer quest. Oh, don't forget this official Camp Half-Blood questing backpack. It comes pre-packed with everything you need. Gold drachmas, ambrosia squares, deodorant.
This is like when they decided, like, oh wait, they're going on like a quest. It's supposed to be like fun, and then they have like a song where it's like, oh, they're having fun, right?
Great summation there. 10 out of 10. I just think it's like a real blast, and it kind of sets you up for like a lot of fun for Act 2 in a way that I think a good Act 1 closer should. It sets up the stakes, it sets up the goal, and it leaves you like, how are we gonna succeed at this and when we come back? And then I also think the Act 1 or Act 2 opener is really good, where they're lost in New York, like they're trying to get to LA.
It's not safe to stay out here in the open when monsters are hoping to eat us alive.
How do they know where we are when we don't even know? How are we gonna survive?
It's your smell.
I don't smell.
Dude, like, listen, please, half-bloods to monsters smell like Mickey D's.
We smell?
Like tacos or takeout Vietnamese.
So hopefully they just ate.
Fantastic gang. Well, I don't wanna die in the Garden State. We're lost in the woods, somewhere in New Jersey, and we're never gonna make it to LA. We're lost and it's dark, and I think that something's moving, and I think it's coming this way.
Yeah, how did they get to New York?
I don't know where they start. Were they in Canada?
You know what? Actually, I don't know where they started. Maybe they were in Canada.
I'm about to say, like, logically, that makes sense, right? That tracks.
Not really. I mean, New York is basically the furthest away you could possibly be from LA in the United States.
It's weird that they don't just magic themselves there somehow. I like this because I like a good travel song.
I mean, they do magic themselves there, though, because Ares just kind of shows up and takes them there.
Yeah. I do like that little song moment. It's not like brilliant or anything, but I have a lot of fun watching it and them going through their different variations of, oh, that didn't work, and oh no, now that's fallen apart, and like their misfortune in trying just to get a ride to LA. I think it's
Yeah.
a funny idea for an Act 2 opener.
It is a little bit repetitive, though, and if I remember, it goes on quite a bit.
It goes quite a bit, I will. But I enjoy it. I have fun.
Sure.
It's about the slapsticks and the chuckles, and especially if you're waiting for people to come sit down after taking their 2 poops.
It's a good song if you like some goofs and gaffs and some laughs, you know?
And which is what you like. Don't frame that like a bad thing, you motherfucker.
It's too long. It's repetitive. It's garbage.
Yeah, that's your girlfriend's review of your sex, too. All right, let's move on to Dead on Arrival, DOA.
If only.
I bury the souls of the newly deceased. I got a sweet ride. It was newly leased. And if the dead complain, I just turn up the stereo. Sail away, come sail away.
We get our kings cross the river Styx.
It's a permanent trip, so don't find no trips. Gentlemen and ladies, it's Hades who runs the show.
Oh, look, it's the Vienna Boys Choir. They crashed their bus on the way to sing for the Vatican.
They're kids.
They're lucky. Their voices will never change now.
It's like dead on your DOA, and you're here to stay. Yeah, you're stuck forever, never get away. No for survival.
You're dead!
I love this song. This song is fun.
I think what they do with this song is a lot more interesting than what they did with any of the other like villain set piece songs.
I agree with you there. I think this is the best villain set piece moment in the entire thing. I feel like a lot of the times when they introduce folks like that, it kind of falls flat.
Yeah, I was expecting them to do a bit more with like Hades and stuff, but he's only here for one scene. And I feel like Karen kind of just straight up outshines him in like every way.
Yes.
So, you know, I think this is a good moment though. It's good.
I think that this is just like the most fun moment, and it kind of like gets your adrenaline going, because even I was kind of losing steam halfway through Act 2, and this just kind of got me up to the end.
Yeah.
I don't have much negative or positive to say for any of the rest of the song. Bring on the Monsters. Yeah, it's a little cringe, but fuck it. It's an end song. I enjoyed it. They're going to shoot water like toilet paper at me. It's a lot of fun. Come on.
Jess just loves being covered with wet toilet paper.
It's not wet. It's dry. Just...
Water toilet paper is literally what you said.
It's meant to represent water.
Okay, I'm done being mean. Okay, the meanness
No,
is
you're
done.
not. No, you're not.
We finished the classic Musicals with Cheese episode.
Yeah, that was a revival of the original tone of Musicals with Cheese.
Yeah, can you give me like the Nostalgia Critic The Wall ending here? So you just ask me how I thought of it, so I can just say, oh, it was fine. A lot of creativity.
But what did you really think of it?
Oh, it was fine. You know, a little full
Yeah,
of
I
itself,
agree.
but there was a lot of creativity.
Yeah, that's fair. So, Andrew, what was your overall thoughts on Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief, the musical, and your cheese rating?
Oh, okay. Geez, did I make myself clear?
No, I feel like you didn't really express yourself this episode, honestly. I feel like you could have been more honest.
Oh, okay. Let me be a little more honest. I didn't enjoy it. I don't like what they did. I didn't think it was good. I don't know how else to say that. This is why negative media criticism sucks, because this, like, the whole episode, I'm just like, what else do I say? I didn't like it.
Why does it look like Vegas? Toilet paper has water? What?
Yeah, I don't know. It was...
That's not how the Greek gods actually were! Your demigods be happy!
Okay.
What are you bitching about? So much teen angst! Huh?
You know what? Jess has nailed my review. So, yeah.
Hello,
No.
I'm Andrew DeWolf. I remember it because it's a lightning thief.
I remember it because I watched it yesterday.
Have you ever watched something that was so full of teen angst that you just didn't want to know it?
You do like a really good impression of Doug Walker. It's like incredible. Are you sure you're not from Chicago?
What's your cheese rating?
Oh my goodness. Does this deserve like a good cheese? I don't want to get too creative with this one because I feel like they didn't do very much. So I'm going to give it feta cheese because that was the first cheese that comes up if you look up Greek cheese. So there you go.
All right, that's fine. Bree, what'd you think of our discussion and your cheese rating on that?
I'm tired. I have never been on an episode where you guys were at the opposite ends of the spectrum here. And
Really?
yeah, like you guys have never... I mean, I've missed a couple episodes since I started, but
I don't think we've disagreed very hard on anything lately.
yeah, no, you haven't. So I'm a little tired and worn out from that. I don't know how to feel about this. Andrew hated it. And Jesse, you loved it.
I didn't say I loved it. I just liked it.
Okay, well, you liked it. But Andrew really hated it. So, I don't know how to feel. So I'm just going to give it a piece of Little Caesars pizza because that makes sense.
Caesars is Roman.
Oh my god.
Percy Jackson has stolen Jupiter's lightning. It's over.
That's a great choice. I like the show. It was a lot of fun to watch. I enjoyed it while it was happening. It's not going to change the world, but I saw that it has affected a lot of teenagers, and I've seen them connect with it, and I understand why. I don't really want to yuck their yum because I don't have any strong emotions. I could just rip this apart if I was like, a cynical asshole, but I don't really want to be that guy.
Cynical asshole.
Sometimes you have to be a cynical asshole, you know?
No, you don't. You don't always have to do that.
All of the teenagers that enjoy this right now, they're going to grow up and become cynical assholes. So I'm allowed to hate their media too.
You know what? That's fair, Andrew. And I say, Andrew, you should open up your DMs and let everyone just let you know exactly the reason how they feel about
this. Are my
this.
DMs not open?
They should be, honestly.
I feel like I just never get any
I feel like
DMs.
most people just don't know your Twitter exists.
Yeah.
Same with Bree. They don't know your Twitters exist.
That's because I don't tweet.
Because you're probably a healthier human being than I.
Yeah, I don't check social media a lot, unless it's TikTok. Then I spend lots of hours there.
Yeah, that's the new one. But my cheese rating is apparently Medusa's favorite type of cheese, Gorgonzola, because
I get
they
it.
were the. You get it? You get it?
Gorgons.
Do I have to explain it?
No, you don't have to explain it. Medusa's a Gorgon.
Okay.
I get it. I got it.
10.
I don't think they ever
Okay.
used. I don't think they ever used that term in the Lightning Thief, though. They didn't.
They
say
did not.
Because the show barely gives a shit about Greek mythology and hardly uses anything from it.
They just never care about the source material. Why even make it about this? Just make up your own characters.
You know what? All I have to say is, if they didn't do my boy Dionysus so dirty, I would have loved this show. This was
He's gonna
literally
love
this
the
was
frogs.
a spite.
He's
This was a
gonna love
spite
the
episode.
frogs.
This was a spite episode. That's what
Oh,
this
no
was.
one could tell just from your tone throughout that you had a lot of spite in your heart during this. Wow.
All right.
Okay. Well, you know who definitely isn't full of spite?
Not me.
Our wonderful patrons.
She said it! All right. Thank you guys for listening. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher at Musicals with Cheese. We're on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals, Patreon Musicals with Cheese, Instagram Musicals with Cheese, YouTube page Musicals with Cheese. We have a Patreon-only podcast, Gallivant with Cheese. Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com to tell us how wrong Andrew is, because of course he is. Title card created by Jolene Casco. Go send her some love on Instagram at Jolene Casco. Our keeper of the cheese is Juliet Antonio. Thank you for keeping up with all our cheese ratings. We love you to death, Juliet. Our show is produced by the incredible, the wonderful, the girl that's always got my back. It's Brianna Jones. I love you so much, Brie. You're the best. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on your platform and for not kicking us off yet, but now we will because Andrew's talking shit about The Lightning Thief, America's favorite musical.
America's only musical.
Yeah. 2020's only musical, but still not good enough to get the Tony nomination. It deserved the nomination. I feel like even you have to admit it deserved the nomination as the only musical that came out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit that. They should have at least nominated it. I don't think they should have won.
There was nothing. Nothing came out. That would just be the only nomination, and then they just didn't pick it?
Yep.
I
They could have
somehow
picked
feel like that's more
what actually
mean.
won? What actually won?
The Tonys haven't happened yet, Andrew. Somehow the 2020 Tonys still haven't happened yet.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it will win then.
It's not nominated. The nominations are out, but the awards still haven't happened.
They can't pick.
They said it was supposed to happen in October. October was a long time ago, guys.
To be fair, I would rather not get nominated for something instead of get nominated for something and be the only thing that got nominated for something and not win.
I mean, Aaron Tveit is the only one nominated for best actor in a musical, and maybe that'll be him. He gets nominated and still doesn't get it. Actually, technically, that's still it because the Tony Award still hasn't happened.
No, they're not even going to give him the satisfaction of losing. They're just not going to do it.
We're just gonna skip over the 2020 Tonys. If you got nominated, good for you. You'll always be a Tony nominee.
You'll always be a nominee. You're never going to be a winner, though, even if you're the only one in the category.
Yeah, that's whatever. All right, you guys. Anything else you want to say?
Love you guys.
Jesse does not want to hear that right now. He does not feel loved by you, Andrew.
I really don't.
It was fine. A lot of creativity. What a full of itself.
Very innovative, like that.
I like how you're putting this on the same level as The Wall. I agree with you that this is an
you're-
artistic equal of Pink Floyd's The Wall.
No, this is the artistic equal of Doug Walker's The Wall.
All right, we'll see you next time on Musicals with Cheese. I didn't want to be a half-blood. I didn't ask to be a hero seeking place. Being half a half-blood. That's the song, right?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
is that
that
the whole
was so
thing?
good, dude.
I could be like a teen angsty rock star.